that we have been bringing up since Thursday in preparation for your visit, so thank you all for coming. Today we have the Plummer family, which are famous for a number of reasons, but one of which is that they fought in the American Revolutionary War. And we also have the Douglas family. Most Fred Douglas's sons have recently been moved to Arlington, but still there's many family members at the Harmony Cemetery. And then we also have the Hart family. Professor Hart, as William likes to call him, founded Howard University's law school, and he walked from Alabama to DC on foot to do so. One of our great country's heroes. Many of these stones are. One of the first stones we ever found was Mrs. Greenfield. Her son was the first African-American pharmacist in DC and started the Negro Pharmacy Foundation of DC. So as we look into each of these families, you'll find unbelievable stories that have to be told and have to be brought back to the attention of DC and the country. And so this is a project, Project Harmony, which is a cooperation between Hassan, which Dr. Dietz will tell you about in a few seconds, cooperation with the government of Virginia, government of DC, government of Maryland, and also the, how's the full cemetery called?
National Harmony Cemetery.
The National Harmony Cemetery, where the bodies of the families reside. And now they'll be reunited with the stones after 60 years. So we're so delighted to have this project. And out here, we're gonna go, after we see some more stones delivered, we're gonna head down. So you're actually gonna see a 2-mile stretch of the Potomac River, 16 feet wide, with the 37,000 headstones. Those families had headstones lining up the river as far as your eye can see. And so we'll go down there, and maybe you might see another stone that we haven't seen yet, as we're going to keep bringing them out so we can bring them and repatriate them to Maryland. So Dr. Dietz, you want to say a few words?
I definitely do. I'm Kelly Dietz, and I just want to welcome you all and tell you what an honor it is to meet all of you, to be part of this project. I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about this. Just so you know who I am and who's going to be taking care of your ancestors' graves, I have a very long history of doing African American history in Virginia. I have a master's, and PhD in African American studies. I have dedicated my entire life to doing work like this. Our nonprofit is called Hassan History, Arts, and Science Action Network. It was established 2 years ago after my co-founder, who you'll meet in a moment, who's down there pulling the gravestones up. We met working on a project about Nat Turner with National Geographic. We produced a documentary with National Geographic. I wrote a cover story for National Geographic on Nat Turner. But the biggest part of that relationship and the importance of that moment meeting him was that he personally, Justin Fornell personally, got Nat Turner's skull returned to the descendants. And we met in that moment, and there was something about the ancestors pulling us together, because we were talking just like this, right? Like he and I just had this vibe, and we're like, we need to have an organization that focuses on repatriating, giving back what was taken once to the descendants of these people who had everything against them. So our entire nonprofit is dedicated to repatriating human remains, cultural remains, bringing families together to heal the wounds of the past as best as we possibly can. This project right here was brought to us by Lex. We met during a Juneteenth celebration, and it could not be a better hallmark, big opening to our nonprofit. And I hope this is the beginning of not just a relationship with all of you, but of more projects like this happening, trying to fix the wrongs of the past. So again, Kelly Dietz, I will talk to any of you whenever. I will give you my cell phone. I will be taking care, me and my team. Amy Connolly over here is going to be helping. We both have a passion for this. We also are trained in mortuary arts and cemeteries. We are going to be taking each one of these stones, cleaning it with a toothbrush, with all the respect you can imagine, documenting, photographing it, entering the information, figuring out the symbolism in all these different stones. So each one of these headstones will have a certain kind of flower, right? Or a Freemason sign. Those things are symbols, right? Representations of who was buried in that space. So by the end of this project, which will probably be about 3 years, we are going to have not just a database of these names so you guys can find the stones, but we are going to have some information about their religion, their cultural beliefs, what was important to them. and it all will come together in this project. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm a professor too, so I get going. It'll be an hour. You'll be like, all right, enough. But welcome so much.
Please introduce why this space.
Okay, yeah, so I was here a few weeks ago. We knew it was gonna be here, but the scene, I really wanted it to be right in front of the 1790s plantation house, because history is deep, history is long, and there are moments like this when you see this activity happening here, right? Restorative justice, trying to fix those break-ins that have broken sort of bits of our past, of y'all's past, of our collective history, right with the backdrop of one of the darkest moments in American history. So bringing light out of darkness is something that I think this project is going to do, and I think it was very important to have it set here where you've got a 1790s plantation house, a smokehouse, and a kitchen, to honor not just them, but everyone who's here today, everyone whose headstones are here, and the longer, broader history of African American culture in this country.
Thank you. And I want to honor Dr. Frank Smith, who is here. He's my mentor. In 2003, I moved into the son of a United States Colored Troop soldier's house in LeDuc Park in D.C. And a few blocks from his house was a monument to African American soldiers set up by Dr. Frank Smith and his team. And I walked into his museum and I said, I'd like to honor the father of my role model, Louis George Gregory, who was a first sergeant in the 104th United States Colored Troop. And Dr. Smith was kind enough to take me as under his wing and teach me how the importance of honoring our past. And I come from a country called Estonia, so I have to learn about U.S. culture and history. And he helped me go down and recognize that there's gravestones all around the country that need honoring. In fact, that headstone of Louis George Gregory's father was sitting in the neck at North Charleston at a tilt in a swamp. It was a 16-foot long headstone. So I got, with his descendants, we resurrected it back up, straightened it up. And at that cemetery, at that event, there were some USCT reenactors. One of them name is Joseph McGill, who started the Slave Dwelling Project, which is to bring honor by sleeping in homes like that one that were slept in by slaves before to tell the story. And Joseph McGill was a great man, and he supported me at all these events, putting up headstones for USCT soldiers in the South. So in Savannah, Georgia, Dr. Frank Smith came down and supported there. As we put up stones, we brought drummers in. We've had other events where we had drummer boys come in. Senator Claiborne was there. So then, in Father's Day last year, I was driving south on 301, and I knew the Slave Dwelling Project was happening close to here. And so I asked my wife, can we go and stop by and say hi to Joe? And so we did. And so I came there, and then Kelly was busy cooking up food for the Slave Dwelling Project, people who were sleeping in the slave cabin over there. And I said, Dr. Deeds, just down the river are all these headstones. Do you mind, do you think you'd be interested to help? And that's when she told me the amazing story she just told you about the about Hassan's founding. And so we got to here. So I want to thank Dr. Frank Smith for coming here again and continue to support us. And in May of next year, we will have these stones back up at the cemetery, and we will have a Memorial Day event with the United States Colored Troop marching back in like the cemetery used to do. Elizabeth Kexley led the Memorial Day events in Harmony Cemetery at the turn of the century. It's nice that we can reestablish them. And I'll let the cemetery representative, Andrew Pixley, speak about the cemetery's very generous participation in this project.
Thank you, Lex, so much. And good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Pixley. I'm here on behalf of National Harmony Cemetery. National Harmony Cemetery is just outside of DC, and where all of the 37,000 decedents that were moved from Columbian Harmony Cemetery were moved to. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to meeting all of you. And thank you, Lex, for involving us and inviting me here today. We're really honored to be a part of this project and to help reunite all of these headstones where they belong. So thanks again, and on behalf of everyone at Harmony, the entire staff, we're just honored to be a part of this project. Thank you.
Now, just to know what the itinerary is this morning, we're going to spend some time just looking through these stones. Maybe one of you might recognize somebody. Mr. Hart Williams already recognized this name, the Terrell family. And then we're going to be having a dramatic entrance of about 9 new headstones will come in. So you kind of see the Hart team that's been hard at work bringing them in. And then once we get that done, then we're going to head down to the river We're going to go in our cars. We're going to drive about 2 miles down to the riverside. So we'll follow in a procession after that. And at that point, that'll be it for the day. Would anyone else like to share anything before we kind of break into looking around?
So let me say